We all need to work collaboratively in conjunction with one another, and the community has to be truly engaged in this process because it is a community issue. Definition of poverty is a young mother that has to work 2 jobs and still have to go receive services because she can't afford to feed her children.
There are about 144,600 people in Central City, Syracuse. 35% of them live in below the poverty level. What was significant about that report to the city of Syracuse was the facts, based on the data, that Syracuse ranked #1 in concentrated poverty levels amongst Blacks and Latinos. You need a clean environment to lay your head. Wherever that pillow and that bed and that dwelling is, it needs to be in a community that's not riddled with gunfire all night long. It needs to not be infested with rats and roaches. And it needs to be affordable.
All of it is very important, but transportation is huge because that's the means that most people have to get to the jobs that they're trying to go to support their families.
A low-income individual going into a job setting is no different than a middle or higher income individual going into a job setting if they have children. And they have to know that they're able to drop their children off to a qualified individual in a safe, clean environment.
The superintendent is going to be opening up dinner time meals for students at night because a lot of our children, they're not getting the food that they need. They're not getting nutritious food.
We decided to form a collaborative, and I put that in quotes. This process started back in September of last year when Governor Cuomo and his cabinet members came to town for the Capitol for a day. And for 3 days, we were in meetings all over the city and the county, talking to his department heads about concerns and issues and what we feel should be priorities for his administration. And one of the, through the efforts of Frank Lazarski and United Way, one of the forums was an evening event centered around poverty. And so at that event, we were asked to, Helen and I, and some other individuals, to speak about poverty specific to our community.
Our larger goal is to see that poverty number go down. We would love to see people accessing jobs, fixing up their homes, having safer neighborhoods. We would love to see just a thriving community. And I think if we pull together as a community and we tear down maybe some of the walls that exist between us, we're going to be successful.
If I'm not living in poverty, I can't walk in and tell a person that's living in poverty how to get out of poverty. So the best thing for me is to invite them into this conversation because they're going to be the ones that's going to give us a clue on what they need to overcome this.
The most important component to Helen and I is community engagement.
One of the things I hope we'll be able to do is look at the programs that are really working, or we're going to be able to look at those outcomes, see how people are progressing. And I think the idea that everyone's had is if we can scale up those projects and those supports, then we're going to see more people helped.
White picket fences, flowers blooming, families playing, kids running in yards, everybody living a healthy, happy life, sustaining themselves. That's my vision.